Hello, BookTube, and
Hello,
we're here
everyone.
live. Hi, this is Grix. He came yesterday to help me, and he's moved down a ton of books today,
Yeah.
more than I can pack because I'm fading. But hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Zap. Hello. Um, Once I get that up on the screen. Hi. Yeah, it's going. I would say now I'm nearing. I think I must have about 85 boxes packed
Yeah. It's
so
good.
far. And I think about probably almost half there. I think. Fingers crossed, almost half there.
Oh, that's good.
Fingers crossed.
When I arrived, he said that it was only one third.
Yeah,
So yeah, check it
so that's good. Hi,
out.
Jenny. And I want to say there's been some naughty people here. I said no more books or anything, but God, you do know how to pick them. I knew this was coming yesterday. It's a Blu-ray, but it's with George Méliès's lost autobiography with the Blu-ray of this. It was limited to 100, or no, so 1,000 copies, and I missed it when it first came up, and I just never thought of it. And I mentioned it to someone, and yeah, then it showed up yesterday, sealed. Well, it's no longer sealed. I opened it, and then today, a bunch of film books came, but they are hits. But don't do this anymore. This one here is a British cooperative movement film catalog. It's the kind of thing where industries would make industrial films on how to do X, Y, or Z, or propaganda films. And it's a listing of 300 of them that are in the British Film Institute. And it's you don't even have to watch it because it's got a complete description of, like this one here, the milk business from 1930, circa 1939. It was 11 minutes 45 seconds. Oh, it was actually silent and 16 millimeter. And it's got, like, the first scene is the dairy herd at LCS Farm, Ongar, Essex. The cows are washed, scrubbed, and fed before milking. And then scene two, milking of the cattle by hand, and it just goes through everything. It's amazing. And then to top that one off is the British Film Catalog, Volume One, fiction films. It's a listing of every British film that has been made from, well, or at least released 1895 to 1994, and there's nothing worthwhile after 1994 anyway, so that's fine. Um,
So,
and it's a very brief description. It's chronological, and it's got the name, the length, the producer, director, scenes, the person who did the scenery, the actors, and then just a one sentence uh, description of it. And it's just the listing. It's like over 1,000 pages. Well, how big is it? The index, it's over 1,000 pages. But that's not all. I think it's the same person sent the accompanying volume of documentaries, and it's the same thing, but not as thick. But it does the exact same thing. And then on top of that, somebody else has sent me. This is a newer edition of a checklist of science fiction and fantasy that's been done, and I found out who this was because they said Volume One is coming at a later date for some reason. So yeah, naughty people, but you sure know what books to hit correctly.
yeah, definitely. I wouldn't know what to do with the film books in there, for example. Like if that came to my hands, I wouldn't even know how to
Yeah.
approach them.
Well, it's like I've been watching a lot of stuff, the 1950s
Right.
British B films, and I've never seen most of them before, and that's really cool to
Yeah.
have something like this that I can go through and say, "Oh, I've never seen that. Oh, I'd like to see it. Oh, I can't see it because it's not
Hmm.
available."
Yeah, it's just like I've never used books for that kind of research. I would always go to the internet, but it
Yeah,
touches a subject on like how many things you can do with a book that, like, intuitively, I would never look for like film information in
mm,
books. just because I didn't think of it. But
Yeah, well, the thing is, you'd have to know exactly what to look up, and you can't just sit there. It is easy for me just to flip through. Hi, Alan. Yeah, it's things are getting done. There's, as I say, almost 100 boxes. Probably about 85, I think, that I've packed now, and it'll be definitely 100 before the evening because there's more than enough down here to keep me busy for a long time. Had to wait for more bubble wrap, but that's arrived today, so that's good. But yeah, it's going. And Sunday, I think it is, the first moving into the storage of the first lot will happen on Sunday, and then on the 22nd for others. Words can inspire. Come on, show up. Hello, yeah, hi, and ongoing best wishes for a smooth pack. Yeah, it's going very smooth. I'm really running out of steam though. Yeah, that's the thing, because I've been doing a little bit of work on that. Movers want about 5,500 pounds, 5,500 pounds to move this. It's crazy. But the thing is, if I can get a C1 driver for 4 days, the actual rental van and the diesel will be around 1,500 to 1,800, depending on how many trips. But I think 2 trips should do it. And then, if cash in hand for somebody, so it's like way less than half the price. I don't even have that though, quite at the moment. And then on top of that, I need to get the place. So there's going to be a good push later to sort of more funding. I might have to do a bid to I might shave my head and beard or something like that live to raise the money.
That always works.
Yeah. Alan, yeah, it's pretty good. It's going well. And Elvis is going to be here. Mark will be. A third of the way of 300 is your target. Well, yeah. I like it. 300 is. It was. I was thinking about 250 originally, but then when I hit all the science fiction reference stuff, which were bigger books, I had so many boxes from those. But I think it's moving down now, so 250 might be the correct number. Fingers crossed. Need Steve to send some of this money. Yeah. Well, I got one here, right now, today.
They have nothing against me. They have nothing against me.
But yeah, usually, well, were you shocked to go up there to see how many books are in that one room?
Yeah.
Were you?
Come again?
Yeah, were you shocked to see how many books were in the one room?
Yeah, I was. When I arrived first, I was surprised because I didn't see many, right? Because I didn't even recognize the second floor. So I arrived, I was like, this is not so many books. Where are all the books? Is everything done? And then he got me into that room, and I was like, okay, this is gonna take a lot. And I have a lot of experience moving around with books. Like I've moved around like twice the amount, like on average every 6 months of my life since I was a baby. So it's not I don't get intimidated easily. But yeah, when I went into the room, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get done all of this today.
No.
Which I was very confident at the beginning because yeah, I normally handle really well this kind of situations, but this is a different one. Yeah,
and I'm just sitting here putting stuff in the boxes and sealing them, and I'm flagging big time. But anyway, Grix does have a BookTube channel, so the link's down below. Do check it out. Makeover, yeah. Well, I'm not too sure about shaving. Like I was going to say, maybe for huge amounts of money, I might do whole body hair and waxing, but no, I don't think there's enough money out there for that. Steve seems to collect his minions, yeah. But yeah, that's the other. It'd be so nice to be able to pay movers, like just to sit back and go, yeah. Oh, that goes there. No, that goes there, but that's not going to happen. It's so I'll need people to load up here when we load it. that's the only way I'm going to be able to do it, is rent a van, 7.5-ton van, and then get it moved up there. And then I need people to help load up here, and then obviously people to help unload there. And there, I'm not 100% sure where there is yet. That's going to come after I get everything into storage. Oh, Rick, Grix is your name. Sounds really understanding based on his own experience. Yeah. When there's this many books to move, there's lots. Yeah. When one's poor, moving sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was somebody that I knew that several years ago, they moved from Ireland to here, and they just had a baby. So what they did was gave the keys to the movers of the old house and the new house, and the movers went in, packed everything up, and then moved it over to the mainland here in the UK, and then unpacked everything. So when they walked into their new house, everything was done. They didn't have to do anything. But yeah, the cost of that would be crazy.
Really put things into perspective for me, because I know I'll never be able to afford people moving things around.
Yeah.
But I also have a lot of books, and they are piling up, and definitely at a much faster speed than I am able to read them. So yeah.
Jenny, yeah, you would like to watch that, wouldn't you? I know you would. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. If I was just thinking, if I was rich, I could do this easy. If I was rich, I wouldn't be in the situation. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about the moving so much, other than it's going well. There's tons of books, and there's somebody else supposed to be coming today. I won't say who that is, because I don't know if he wants to be known. But then Aaron Facer's coming tomorrow afternoon from Cardiff, and staying Friday night, and then going back on Saturday. Let me get Mark into the stream here.
Afternoon, gents. My goodness.
Hello.
Hello.
Can we do it this way, or does it cut off somebody if I do it that way? Oh, that's not too bad. No, I'll leave it the other way.
Yeah, I moved the camera so you couldn't see the mess that is my laundry area. So, how's it going?
Yeah, tiring. I had to stop this afternoon and have a nap. It's really getting to me, and I'm just sitting here putting books in the boxes. And my lovely mom, who I'm grieving, had to move at least 14 times in her poorish life. Broke my heart. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've had to move.
Well, I'm rather hoping that there's just one more for me.
Yeah.
If you were able to take all your books and contain them inside an ebook right now, would you do it, or would you still go through the whole logistics of what's going on right now? Like,
it's a nice idea, but I can't read ebooks very well because of my eye.
And if you could read with the ebook, would you actually want to give up the physical version of the books in order to have them there and not have to carry them around?
Only some. Fiction, probably a lot of stuff. There would be a lot of stuff that I could, but and I do use ebooks, but I can't read for very long on them because of the way my eye is screwed up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Aaron Facer. Yeah, he's coming tomorrow afternoon, and I'm not sure when he's going back on Saturday, but yeah, Jenny. It almost looked like you were saying, "Come on, hurry up with your hands."
Me? Because I was going like this. Sure. I don't know.
Because
it's bloody hot. That's why. I mean, it's like, I don't know. What is it? 30. It's 6 o'clock. Oh, it's horrible. So
Yeah, there's that for it.
yeah, that's it. No, I was too scared to come on because just at the moment I was about to log in, I heard Sean talking about Ireland and then referred to England as the mainland, and I thought, oh, he's going to get himself in big trouble, so I'm not going to come in.
Why? It's like considering like the people call it mainland. That's everybody that I've ever talked to. Calls
Doubt
it mainland.
people in the Republic of Ireland refer to Britain as the mainland, do they?
Get over themselves.
Hey Grix, I saw you had a short on your channel today. Was that today on the train coming up, or was that some other time for Poetry Thursday?
You had a short?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It's not. You didn't make it today. Poetry Thursday on the train.
Ah, yes. Which one was it? The one with Emily Bronte, you mean? No, you mean the one I made for William Blake? No, that was ages ago. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Because I saw it coming that I was gonna, because I just moved out as well of my house and I saw it coming. So before moving out, I made a bunch of videos and I just tried to sort of like spread them around for the next few weeks to not be completely gone from YouTube. And that one was on the train, like the day that I was leaving my house going to Cornwall. I spent quite a while in Cornwall just camping before going to summer school where I'm working now.
Yeah, I thought it was on your way to Bedford.
No. I thought of making a video on the way there, but the train was so crowded that I was like, yeah.
Oh wow, Alexis, I've never had to move all my books. First, I lost them all in a fire. My house burned down. Then I lost my next batch in a flood. Oh, crikey!
Wow.
And yeah, cold for West Cornwall. And like I said, fires and floods, California living. What about earthquakes? We'll mention that one, I guess, just in case. Yeah, I've had lost libraries, but I've had to liquidate them. I had to get rid of them, and I don't like doing that.
No, I can see. Well, Griggs can see better than I can, but I'm sure all of us can see you don't like doing that. So.
Oh yes.
Well, the thing is, it's like definitely for the last 3 years or so, I would be insane if I didn't have the books and I didn't have reading, and that's definitely. So I owe them something. We'll put it that way. I owe them something. I have to take care of them. Jenny says 16 degrees and pissing it down with rain. Definitely needs some thunder to try to clear the air. Yeah, it was supposed to rain this afternoon. I didn't put my laundry out, but it's out now, so hopefully it won't rain until it's dried. Hi, Gareth. Once that gets up, I have to tap it twice. Yeah, it's horrible to lose stuff like that. It's one thing bad enough when you have to get rid of something. That's bad enough, but when you lose it that way. Jenny's saying, hi, Gareth. Hey, Gareth. The Isles of Scilly.
Sicily.
No, it's Scilly.
No, Sicily.
No, Scilly Isles in Cornwall.
Scilly. Ah, okay.
Yeah, the people refer to the mainland
Scilly
as mainland as opposed to the islands, of which there is the main island and the off islands. Okay. See, somebody backs me up.
Well, no, it doesn't back you up because it is the mainland because it's still England. Whereas I doubt another country refers to another country as the mainland.
Well, England could refer to Europe as the mainland.
Yeah, but they were yeah. But they were not in the Republic of Ireland, but they moved from.
Fine, if they were in Northern Ireland, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Alexis.
And Griggs, you live or lived, unless you've moved already. You live where I'm from, which is kind of weird.
You mean when I was in Egan?
You
Like,
left already? Okay, yeah, that's where I'm from originally. So,
Oh yes, I left. I mean, like my university is still there,
uh-huh.
but I left like a month ago. Then I was just for a month camping in Cornwall, and now I'm like between Eastbourne and Worthing, just working in a English summer school for
Oh, okay.
European
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
kids. Yeah, but after that, I'm probably gonna migrate somewhere else. I don't really know where, but yeah.
Well, there could be somewhere up for rent in Bedford soon.
Yeah. Yeah, the 22nd is to shoot for it, but I don't think everything will be moved by then because there's the person that's helping with their little van. There's just too many trips that will be needed, and there's just not enough time in 2 days to do it. I don't think, but maybe. And Zap's saying, "Hi, no, that's the wrong one." I'm actually going to be starting a new GoFundMe account for therapy from that.
Oh.
He's turned off his camera for some reason. Alexis, it's almost like someone doesn't want you to read. Yeah. Hopefully your current collection will be okay. Yeah. Fingers crossed for that. Hi, MJ. Hi, MJ. And hi, Jenny. Hey, Jenny. Not hi. Hey. Eggham.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's turned off his. He probably muted and turned off the camera for a bit. Maybe Elvis was doing something that he shouldn't be. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, the 22nd. It would be nice if everything's done, but I think I'm gonna have to rent a little van or another van and have somebody drive to finish everything up, the bookcases and everything. That's no way is going to happen by the 22nd. Hi, Matt. Oh, surprised to see you here. Are you on your break or day off? Sort of surprised to see you this early. He's in Canada, so it's now 12:22 in where he is. So it's probably lunch. He's probably on his lunch break. But yeah,
I watch a lot of BookTube in my lunch break as well. When I used to work, when I used to work in the kitchen, I would do only BookTube and reading for 12 hours straight.
yeah, work. I don't know this word. Like people keep throwing it around. I don't quite.
I'm trying my best to forget it as well.
So it's one of those 4-letter words that are horrible. Oh, you're off today. I usually miss these. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's kind of the only way to do it would be to do it at midnight or like 1 a.m. and then it's too late for everybody else here. So it's like you can't win. And Alan's saying hi to MJ. Yeah. Oh, I caught some of MJ's live with Michael K. Vaughan. That was interesting. Michael K. Vaughan's connection was crap, and it just kept dropping all the time. But it was interesting because every so often it popped up, and Roger popped up usually with it. It was like stop motion camera. But yeah, so yeah, the other thing is, oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had my parents dropped in on the other room, and they're going off tonight to see William Dalrymple, the author. You know him? No?
Not particularly. I don't think so.
They because they're going to see him, and if he has any books available, they asked me which one I wanted, because this is the guy, if you know him, The Last Mogul or The Anarchy.
Okay.
No, he lives in India, so yeah, there you go. So I had to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have missed my chance of a signed book. So, is that reading this life, MJ? Hi, buddy, to me. Oh, hi.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she was expecting Elvis to show up.
Yeah.
Wish I could chat, but I have an extra job on Thursdays now, so what are these people doing jobs and working? It just, I don't know. I don't get it. So now I have to go out again. Well, thanks for stopping by, Gareth, and thanks for your help earlier. When was that? I'm forgetting days now. That was
Friday.
Saturday, wasn't it? Or was it Friday? Yeah, okay. Michael K. Vaughan interviews. Yeah, avant-garde. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that wasn't for you.
No,
So
it's
Wishlist.
yeah.
Yeah. And Alexa's saying bye, Gareth, and then see you later, Gareth.
So, Grix, I have to ask, what books did you take up for the journey? What were you reading on the journey up?
I only carried one book because I feared that maybe I would be coming back with many books. I carried the Foundation, which is the one I've been reading at a glacial speed for the last month.
Well, you're with the right person for that book, though.
Come again?
You're with the right person for that book.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, get the book that you're taking away with you. Get the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a strange live. Let's put it that way.
What live?
Well, that MJ did with Michael K. Vaughan, and Michael's connection was just dropping all the time.
So this is the one I brought. The trilogy, the Everyman edition. I really like these Everyman editions. Yeah. And then he gave me these two babies, very small books. So yeah, the complete works of Primo Levi. I was showing it upside down. The complete works of Primo Levi. And the Capital, Volume 1, because I have a module for next year in university. That's radical political theory. So they are going to be quite useful.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's going to fill up my bag already.
Just make sure you try and get hold of Landmark Herodotus. That's the book you want to try and get out of his hands.
Okay. Yeah, I really went for one of his favorite ones. I asked him for A Gentle Madness, I was like, do you have that? And he like, no, I only had one edition.
No, yeah, I don't even know where the Landmark ones are at this moment. I know
that's good then. That's good. Yeah.
Dad
cat. I saw something about technical difficulties and he was doing a Q&A, but I didn't realize it was.
Yeah.
I haven't watched much for the last week or so. I've been quite.
Yeah, it's just the first volume of Das Kapital because I ordered it a couple of years ago and it came damaged. And then it's not badly damaged, but I didn't want to pay full price for it. And then they said they sent another one, and so they said just dispose of this one, which I have.
But that's more than enough because I already have a selected works of Marx, which will touch on some of the later works. But I feel like the only one that I needed in its entirety is the Volume 1, actually. So that was a really cool one.
Yeah, I've read it. Not in this translate. I think this is supposed to be a really good translation. I had the what is it? What's the Russian publishers? The Progress or something like that. It was called. There was publishers that they did, and they did a whole set of Karl Marx that was like 40 volumes or something like that of everything. If he wrote a birthday card, I think it was probably in there.
Jeez. And you read all 3 volumes of Das Kapital?
At one time, yeah, I did. I don't remember. I picked it up again. I think I bought it in 2021, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll start reading this. And my COVID brain just was not kicking in for it. And I'm going, this just does not make sense.
I mean, I can understand Grix doing it for like academic purposes, but I'm not sure I would read it for fun.
I mean, it's not the kind of book that you would read for fun, but definitely within the whole work of Marx, not Das Kapital, but some of his essays are really enlightening in some sense. Like they definitely help me, like in a very pragmatic sense, to understand certain aspects of like the daily life and how one behaves in institutions as a worker, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think the most valuable things that Marx wrote are always in his critiques of capitalism rather than his thesis. So
And where
yeah,
are you? Where are you studying? Which university?
Royal Holloway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought maybe when you said you lived in Egham, I thought that's probably the logical.
Although you could say that nowhere because I'm not going to class at all. I'm very disappointed, honestly, with the academic system in the UK. So I'm just doing the readings and only assisting for the assessments. But for anything else, I'm doing everything online and just taking the attendance as if I were in class. Because honestly, I haven't found the classes to be very didactic.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so like
obviously I'm a product of that system, but I suppose it could be different after 20 odd years since I finished.
what I was saying to Grix was that it's like if he doesn't go to classes, he'll be like the rich that went to Oxbridge, either Oxford or Cambridge, where they'd be out partying, you know, in the what is it, the Piers, whatever. I can't remember those clubs that they'd go to.
yeah. I can't remember.
No. I think I spend more hours with the readings than the students who go to every single class. It's like I do read more than anyone in my class, but just don't go there because I feel like it's more show business and pedagogy than actual content that is useful.
The old 100th Club.
Yeah, that's it. I think Marx was a bit naive about human beast nature. Yeah, I read it all in high school. Actually, I was in high school, and it was like a history class, and like I say, I got a cheap copy of it, so I thought I'd read it. I don't think I understood it all, obviously, but I have read it. I can say that. Yeah. No, it's like the first volume. I think is the better one because there's a lot of sociological stuff like societal, and there's tons of stuff in the first volume. But I just put it away because my brain wasn't working for it. And it took me over a year to read any nonfiction after the COVID.
And is this an undergraduate bachelor's you're doing or a postgraduate?
Oh yeah, no, it's an undergraduate. I never even thought of going to uni until COVID. COVID sort of forced me into doing something indoors for the first time. So it's a philosophy and drama joint honors.
So you were living in the UK during COVID, or you?
During COVID, I was still working abroad, sort of like with the scuba diving, but because of the drop of tourism, I just didn't have a job anymore. So I had to find a job or something to do that was indoors. So I found an online job, and I started to think what to do when it looked like it was going to be more and more prolonged. I was like, okay, maybe it's time to study, because I had been trying to study by myself, like independently, for a while, but working full time and traveling is not very compatible with reading consistently, which is something I always wanted to do. So I arrived 2 years ago to the UK, just on time to leave the last quarantine, which was the only true quarantine for me, and it's also very much the moment when I started to read sort of like consistently, more than one book a month, you know.
Well, also too, didn't you just arrive just before Brexit? You got the last. You were the last one in.
Yeah. So you are from Spain originally, then?
Yeah. See, I was born in the Canary Islands, and I lived as well in Galicia and other areas of Spain.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Very nice.
Although I haven't lived in Spain in the last almost, no, I don't know, but like 6-7 years.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
mean,
been
I'm 43 and I've lived in the UK probably 12 years total. So, you know.
okay?
So I've lived in the UK more than you have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm letting you have my benefits.
And you're in the Czech Republic now, right?
Yeah, in the Czech Republic, sweating my ass off. You wouldn't think it'd be so hot, would you, in somewhere like here? But it's really hot this year. So, yeah, I had to.
And I bet you're thinking now about getting air conditioning in your new house.
Well, no, because it will be in the mountains, right? And I think it will be cooler. It should be around 5 degrees on average cooler. And I think being able to open all the doors and windows and stuff, have a through breeze and also some nice fans and things will be fine. But I can't justify at the moment. I can't justify the cost of air conditioning because what?
Yeah,
It's
well,
going to be 1 month out of the year. It's not worth it.
Yeah, but you can always just buy one of those portable ones and just have it
exactly.
in the room.
Could do and stick it in the library.
Yeah. Well, you need that to protect the books and a dehumidifier as well.
Yeah.
All for the books, not for yourself, for the books.
It was quite funny because Elvis started to overheat yesterday. Like literally, his tongue was like hanging out of his mouth. And like the only fan I've got that's still in working order is this little, I don't know if you can see it, just one of these little desk fans, right? It's got a clip on it. So there's that. And so I had to like get him, hold it near him, and I took out this. It's not full of detox. It's clean. It's just water. And like squirt him with the water, keep the fan on until he cooled down, bless him. He was like really. So I thought, yeah, we're not going out again and playing because that was the thing. We were playing with the ball. And it was like 3 o'clock. It was stupid, really, because it was a bit overcast, so it was hard to tell. And then I realized, yeah, he was far too hot.
Words conspire saying, I think Marx understood human nature well enough. Power abuse reigns, and exploitation of less powerful leads to wealth, status, political, economic power. Yeah.
I mean, definitely better than Adam Smith, who only did an abstraction of his present towards the past.
And Alan saying, yeah, like here in Portland, Oregon, I live in a brand new apartment complex with no AC. But yeah, as long as you have true breeze, like you can open up, I got 2 windows in my room and it doesn't matter. You can have both of them open, but they're on the same wall. So it doesn't matter. You need something. I lived in an attic one time here in the UK, but it had 2 different windows on different sides, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it was still pretty hot in the attic rooms, isn't it?
It's been my impression that all bookish people prefers cold weathers rather than hot. Yeah, I mean, I'm conflicted with that because I love hot weathers, but mainly because I spend 30% of my day, at least 30%, in the water. So I can understand where it's coming from. But yeah, I mean, the only kind of people, the only group in society that prefers cold to hot, I think.
Well, for me at least, I always feel that at least when it's cold, you can
put something on.
Always, something extra on. But when it's too hot, there's only so far you can go, right? And that's why I'm a big believer in that people who don't like the heat should be the ones who society protects. Like, for example, when it comes to opening the window in the office, it should be for the ones who don't like the heat, because if you're cold, put on a jumper, you can do that. Whereas if you're too hot, I can't sit at work and then, especially in a school, and just take my shirt off and be like, oh God, it's so freaking hot,
Well, that's like I use in places I work, because people were always saying it was too cold. And I'd be sitting there just pouring, just like rainforest on me. And then they're wearing like a winter coat saying they're cold. And I said, we got to turn it down and, not have it so hot. Otherwise, clothes are starting to come off. And, I only have so many clothes and they'll all come off. All of a sudden, the temperature went down.
But it did. Oh dear.
Yeah, but I do think that the feeling of cold is much worse than the feeling of hot heat. Like heat is uncomfortable. It makes you feel, I don't know, it makes you feel dirty and just bad in your own skin. But cold is existential pain. Like when you feel actual cold, that's something I just, especially the kind of cold that you don't choose when it's for hours and hours in a row. I
Yeah.
remember,
But you could put something on, like for me, the
Yeah.
heat, because when like now my brain just gets fried when the heat. So to me, I'd rather be in the cold because I can at least put something on.
well, I'll populate the southern parts of the planet then. You can keep the northern side.
Oh,
Well,
geez. Really?
You're very sort of, I would say, sort of British in the sense, and I know that may not come across well, but the thing is, like, it's like in this kind of heat, I've seen so many English people, once it rains, they put on their winter coats when it rains and it goes out and it's sweltering hot. And I'm going, it's rain. Why are you putting your winter coat on?
It's even hotter when it rains, actually, because of the pressure. Generally,
Oh,
rain.
it's ice. Yeah. Well, you can get burned by ice. You can burn yourself. You can, because ice cold, you get burned.
But don't you, like, when you have hypothermia, don't you overheat?
Well, you think you are, I
I
guess.
think you are.
Yeah, there's like in the later stages of hypothermia, right? When you are actually really like on a when it's actually when it gets dangerous is when you stop feeling the cold.
Yeah, yeah.
At the beginning you do shiver and you still feel cold, right? So it takes a while. It takes a while before you actually feel hot. Although, yeah, like if you only got like if you got into a cold lake in the UK, as you often do, I don't know why. And then got out, and it was just for a moment before your body starts cooling down. Then you will be hotter coming out of the water than you were when you came in. It's the same thing that in Morocco they take very very hot tea. They take 3 cups of tea.
Yeah.
It's like a whole ritual, and it's the hottest tea that you can have. And they heat their bodies so that the bodies get the signal that they need to be cooled down.
I think it's a similar reason why they eat such hot and spicy food in India as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, like I've said before, everything hot to me, spicy food is just sweet. So it gets hotter and it's sweeter to me. So I can't eat spicy food anymore because it's just like eating pure sugar.
You don't like sweet?
Well, no, I don't mind sweet, but you can only take so much of it.
Fair enough.
And that's just, it's destroyed my enjoyment of spicy food.
Did you like it really spicy? I mean, were you a
Yeah.
Vindaloo eater before? Or?
Oh, even more than that. Like I'd go into an Indian restaurant, which I didn't do very often, and I'd say, "Can you make it hot?" And they said, "Oh yeah," but I said, "No, I said hot, not English hot, hot." And then usually you get the cook that's they all stare at me and waiting for me to explode, and I'm just sitting there eating it normally.
No, I was with a group of expats in Germany when I was living out there, and we all went out drinking and then decided to go for a curry. And of course, we were all drunk, so we were doing exactly the same thing. And he brought, like, Vindaloo was the mildest thing that he brought out, right? We were going on and on, we were trying to dare each other. And I just remember sitting there, of course, very drunk, and also like having to take my glasses off because my eyes were streaming. My nose was running. I was a complete wreck, but I was refusing to give in. And then eventually I just had to, because like I was palpitating. It was like, Jesus.
Well, I do like it. Like anytime that I had full sinuses, like that's the one thing. It'll clear your sinuses out really nicely.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, addicted to cayenne pepper.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the reason. People eat them. I think that's part of the reason why people eat the spicy food in hot countries. You look at spicy food comes from hot countries. The hot food comes from hot countries, doesn't it? Really? I mean, you don't see the Vikings eating curries.
It's generally almost like the alcohol comes from northern countries. Not really. it's not like comes from there, but it's definitely more popular there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel. Yeah.
Yeah, but the people forget that if it goes in hot, it comes out hot as well. Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
Thanks for that, Sean.
Oh, just a minute. I gotta readjust myself on this. This is a desk chair thing, and it's not very comfortable.
Of course, the
My
problem now is I have a craving
Um,
for a curry.
uh,
But there's nothing here. No curry.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if I get a curry now, I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna. I can't get it hot because it'll be just like eating pure sugar, and that's what my taste buds tell me.
So just get a korma.
Yeah, I would have to. Probably because it would be mild. It'd probably be still sweet, but
have you tried to go through like all the spices in the supermarket and just see what each of them tastes in?
No, I do have quite a few, but garlic is one that I can still taste, and the other ones, some like I've got a chicken spice and a beef spice, or a multi-spice, I think it is, and I noticed the difference between them, but there's no distinct taste.
What about things like coriander, parsley, oregano?
I haven't really tried too much of that yet. Have you watched the Goodness Gracious Me episode going out for an English? Oh,
have you seen that, Sean?
No, I know but I haven't seen that episode. No,
it's great. Obviously, they're all like Indian origin or subcontinent origin, and they go out to a restaurant for an English, and they behave like English people would behave in a curry house, right? So it's like, give me the blandest thing on the menu. It's like the spicy thing. It's like they keep mispronouncing the waiter's name. His name's James, and they say, "Hey, James, come here."
No, I remember like something that definitely not. Well, even at the time, but it was showing the way the character was on Rumple the Bailey, and one of the Rumple does he defends I forget that's family that are villains. You know, they steal stuff, and then the one of them was at his home, and he wanted to go out, but he says, let's attack a CHINK, and he meant go out for a Chinese, and it was like even Rumpel was going, what? It's like, no, but it's just showing the character the way he was. Alexis saying words, but he's seemed to believe in the saintliness of work. Oh yeah, the marks. Turns out you put them on top, they are just as bad. Yeah, it's human nature. My addiction is salty food. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm like that as well. I always oversalt my food. It's meant to be really bad, but just can't help it.
Yeah, I can sort of. Salt doesn't taste quite as it should for me, but I get a bit of a tingling on my taste buds for it, so I do like it. But yeah, there's not too many things. Like I noticed textures. Like I can drink milk, but I can't taste the milk. But I like the creamy. Like I get a creamy sensation. I know it sounds weird, but that's how I work it with things.
You mean you can't smell or taste if the milk is off?
No, I can't taste that. All I know is if I put it in the tea, or if it comes out in lumps, I know it's off.
They drink that crap here, though. It's kefir or something they call it.
Well, yeah. I drink that as well. It's really good for your gut.
Well, I like.
I don't mind it actually. They have a flavored one, which I quite like.
Sorry, yeah.
It's a bit more palatable than the normal unflavored
one.
Well,
what's the thing? I forget what it's called now, but it is off milk, and I really like it. It has a sour taste. Kefir. No. In England, like in North America, they got a name for it, but it could be the same thing. I can't think of the name of it.
Yogurt?
No, it's not that thick.
It's not kefir, for sure.
Well, it's probably the same thing, but it's different name. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Because I know Eastern Europeans, they were selling it. I can't think of the name of it.
Let's
Somebody
see.
needs.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Kefir drink. Alternative names.
I can't handle super hot Italian, but love hot Mexican food. Yeah, there's any, you can get any kind here, but I've never had a Mexican meal here in the UK. I'm sure there is. I'm Alan Saney, really ignorant regarding Indian cuisine, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of popular Indian restaurants here in Portland.
Yeah, you should go for it, Alan, though. It's lovely. It's one of my favorite cuisines, I think.
Alexis, I totally agree that Marx seemed to think the ordinary workers didn't have within their own character to be exactly like the exploitive workers of the means of production. Yeah. I couldn't live in a place without Mexican. I can't think of the name of. Let me do a search. I might be able to by sour milk. Let's put it that way.
They've got different names here, such as milk kefir, Gipi Iran, and then others Bulgaros. But I don't think they don't sound very.
The only one I know is kefir.
Yeah.
It's enough. I usually don't really like it. I only take it because it's really good. Sourness is something that doesn't go with me.
Buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Buttermilk. It's buttermilk. That's what it's called, buttermilk. But I've tasted the Eastern European stuff, and it's almost the same, but it's better than. I've tried to buy buttermilk in Tesco and places, and it's like I want to puke. It is absolutely horrid. But no, it's buttermilk. I figured out. That's what it is. What do they call hot sauce in England? Hot sauce. Isn't that the red? Like you get the hot sauce in the red little. It's red and it's in a little bottle that you put on. I think that's just.
Yeah.
I think that's all it's called.
What I will never understand is HP sauce.
Oh yeah, HP sauce.
Brown
Yeah.
sauce. No, that's something just vinegar.
It's just a little different than that, but there's different kinds of brown sauce. That's the thing. Brown sauce comes in different ways. It's barbecue sauce is brown sauce as well.
Yeah, I'm also not a big fan of barbecue sauce, but I guess there I'm alone.
Well, I like it. I like barbecue wings, which you still can't get here properly in England. They places they all say, "Oh, American style, barbecue wings," and no, they're deep fried, and then they've got some sour sauce on them on the side, and they just don't have a clue how to make barbecue wings in the UK.
How do they make them in America?
Well, you should bake them, but you can deep fry them to a certain extent, but you don't deep fry them so hard that you crack a tooth on them.
Right.
You want to go to Marks and Spencer's, Sean? They have, or they used to have. You could buy a tub of. Well, okay, it's not quite the same, but they're Chinese chicken wings.
Yeah, they're the closest actually to proper wings. Yeah.
And the thing is, they're already cooked, so you can eat them cold, or you can, of course, heat them up. But they are. When I was a student, we lived off them, because a whole bucket would last you the whole day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Fantastic.
No, I loved it at university because we used to go to. Well, there was lots of us that had. Our last class during the day was like about 12 noon, 1 o'clock, and then we had a 7 o'clock class at night. So we would, at the end of the one class, we'd go to the bar and we'd sit there and drink Rickard's Red at Phil's grandson's place in Waterloo, and eat wings, and then go to class. Well, stumble into class, I should say. Get an air fryer makes great. Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah, I keep saying that I'm gonna do this myself. Get wings and probably just bake them, put them in the oven, and bake them in barbecue sauce and see how that would work. But yeah, that air fryer would probably be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe in my new place to be able to.
I'm gonna try and get one when I move. That's great. Sorry,
My
there must be a delay.
Greens, I think. It was really nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get when I get a place to have a kitchen back, so I can actually make things properly and have an oven that's not. People don't put pizza and meat on the racks and just let everything go down to the bottom of the stove. Ugh.
Chiquitos, yeah.
What does Mexican food?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there is, because you can get everything now. Like, there's Greek restaurants, there's Thai, there's most places. There's a lot of things, but yeah, I just and the one thing that was people are really shocked like for Chinese food. I've never ever had takeaway or delivered Chinese food. Never. I've always gone to a Chinese restaurant.
I've mainly had it delivered.
Yeah, that's what it is here in the UK. And it's just, I don't know why. It's just, I've never done that.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
Because the portions last you a long time. And what about you, Grix? Do you like with your friends and stuff, do you find yourself cooking or trying to cook, Spanish food for them? Like trying to show off your culture and things like that? Are you...
I mean, I had to learn certain Spanish dishes just because people would ask me to make them. It took me a while to be able to make a good Spanish omelette. I can say I've mastered that now, so now I'm like focusing on being able to make like a Galician empanada, which is like a calzone that traditionally would have a cod in it, but because I try to not buy animal products, I do it with the spinach and veggies. But that one is not working yet. I've tried a few times. It's been good. Better than Cornish pastries, in my opinion, because I don't understand putting potato in the dough. I'm not a big fan of that. But I just cooking in general. I'm like really good at cooking something nice really quickly. So anytime I'm with people, I'm always cooking. Mainly plant-based products. So.
Part of the thing with English people is most of them think that the only Spanish dish is paella, probably.
Yeah.
And I've never had that.
You've never had paella? Oh.
No, I've never had it. Where's it's Agam, isn't it? Yeah, that's where the
yeah. That's what
drama philosophy. Yeah, it's an interesting combination.
Yeah, no, like I was only looking for philosophy degrees, and then I when I found that combination, I was like, that's perfect actually, because as much as I like the introspective work of philosophy, I kind of wanted also something that allowed me to sort of like conduct it outwards, and drama does that. Although again, I'm really disappointed with academic education in university in general. I'm not even talking about my degree. I'm talking about like the whole humanities section in pretty much every university that I've seen. And I think too many as a listener as well. So yeah, I'll make a video about that eventually when I have time to prepare it and actually touch all the points that are really wrong with education.
Yeah, it's not 2 words and there's only 1 G.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where it's hard to say because like I was born in Ashford, which isn't that far away. And
yeah, no, that's really close from Megan.
Then we moved to Egham, but I was like 2 what was I, like 2 years old when we left, right? And then I never went back there. So
oh yeah, chili. I haven't made chili for so long. And there's few things that I want to make in my new kitchen that I get is going to be chili, pierogies, and apple pie. And it's just like things that I haven't made in over 20 years. So I definitely want to.
What's the deal with the pierogies then?
Well, it's I'd love to be able to do cabbage rolls as well. My grandmother used to make them, and my mom. And I just like they're probably not the best thing to have, but I gotta at least have one stuffing of them.
So grandma was from what? Poland, Ukraine?
She was Ukrainian, yeah.
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 Vareniki. Vareniki, they're called in Ukrainian.
Mm.
Pierogi is the Polish name.
Well, she always called them petaha or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Which part
Cabbage rolls.
of Ukraine? Which part of Ukraine was she from? Do you know?
I've got actually her birth certificate somewhere upstairs, but I can't remember where it was. She got it, I think, sometime in the early '80s, so it's in Russian, obviously at the time.
No, I just
But
wonder
yeah,
if she's from the very west part of Ukraine, she could technically be Czechoslovakian.
I don't know.
Ah, that's
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah, cabbage rolls are fabulous. My mom used to be able to make it. I've tried making cabbage rolls and I can't do it. They just don't come out right. So, but I do love them.
Such a shame you can't travel because, like, we've got tons of Ukrainians here, and even connected with the school I'm at. So sometimes they bring in, vareniki or pierogies or cabbage rolls and all this stuff. You'd love it. You have to
Do you
move.
communicate in other languages, or do you speak any other language other than English, Mark?
Fluently, or like I get by.
Yeah, get by.
Well,
For
I
me
mean, I
is,
used, I studied German at university. That was that was half of my degree. I lived for almost 5 years in Japan, so I did fairly well in Japanese.
nice.
Okay, I'm really only talking about speaking. Writing and reading is a challenge in itself, but communication wise is fine. Czech I can get by in, of course, because I've been here 10 years, but it's a harder language to speak, but it's, going to the shops is no problem, understanding people in the pub generally. But if I was to get into a discussion like you're talking about Karl Marx, I would probably struggle with that, even after 10 years.
Yeah, so thank you, Saul. The move's going okay at the moment. And cabbage rolls, love it.
And I did Spanish. I did like an intensive Spanish course at university, and it's funny because I can pretty much all I can remember is, and you're gonna be annoyed by the accent probably, but lo siento, no entiendo, más despacio, por favor. That's all I remember. Even though it wouldn't help me if you spoke slowly because I don't remember anything else, but that's all I remember. Or maybe ¿Dónde está la piscina? See, my Spanish was so bad, they disappeared.
Oh,
there you go. My Spanish was so insulting. I thought you guys just left. ¿Dónde está la piscina? La piscina.
La piscina.
Yeah.
Most English people and just people in general, the first thing they learn in Spanish is to ask for a beer. Una cerveza, por favor. That's how they say it.
Yeah, no, I remember that as well, I suppose.
And did you learn all the languages you speak by doing courses, or did you learn any of them interactively?
Well, I mean, obviously, at school, I suppose the first contact I had with languages was French and Swedish, because I was at international school in Sweden when I was a kid. So that was the first time I learned anything other than English, and that was just normal classroom stuff. Then when I went back to England, because I had a grounding in Swedish language, I did French and German. And again, it was just classroom stuff. And it pretty much stayed that way until my third year of university, where I went to Germany. And it was the first time I really started to try and use the language practically and hang out with Germans. And although most of the time I hung out with drunk English and Irish people at the local pub, still, I learned quite a lot, I suppose. No, I never really took specific courses for it. In Japan, I guess it helped living in a small town, because you had to learn to communicate. Like my friends, I had a couple of friends who had been living there like a year or so before I arrived, and they already spoke some Japanese, or they had studied it at school in Canada or the US. And they said to me, look, you'll find that like life really changes if you try like to learn stuff. So I really did make the effort, and they were right. I mean, it really opened up my life there. I used to walk around everywhere with because a friend of mine did it, and he recommended it, with a small notebook, just literally writing down all the time everything I could, and every time I heard something new. And it was I think it also helped when you got a girlfriend from there as well, right? Or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. When you get a partner there. The Japanese actually call it a pillow teacher.
Okay, I need one of those.
Definitely helps. Definitely helps.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
And you got a question, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know if I chose it in so much as it kind of chose me. You know, I was working in the UK. I'd spent time teaching English in Japan and Hong Kong, and I found myself back in England, and I started a different job in telecoms, and then didn't really enjoy it, and I wanted to go back into teaching, but I was thinking, I'm not sure I want to go back to Asia, maybe somewhere in Europe. And like half of my department at work was based in the Czech Republic. So they said, why not come to the Czech Republic, try it out? And I thought, yeah, you know, I've never been there. Maybe it's not that far from the UK. You know, my parents can come visit easily, all that kind of stuff. And that was 11 years ago. So, yeah.
Jenny says she'd love to learn her native language.
What, English?
But yeah, just for English people, just put on a thicker Scottish accent, and nobody will know the difference. But I do love this young one. I forget her name. That's on. Well, I think she does TikTok, but I see it on Instagram, and she does Scots language, and it's like when she says something, and I just love it. She goes, "Oh, let me slow that down," and I'm going, "That doesn't help. It doesn't help."
I went to a poetry reading of Robert Burns, and it was read in like very thick accent. I went there like very excited about it because I love poetry readings, but I didn't understand anything. I was 30 minutes just listening to someone, and I couldn't tell the difference between that and Chinese, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't get it either, really. So, you know, yeah.
And now you're building a house, Mark, putting down roots.
I am, yeah. Be glad when it's all done.
Is his friend or enemy? Is that who's he barking at?
Enemy, probably. Yeah.
Tell him it's too hot to bark. He should know that. It's too hot to bark.
It is rather.
Yeah, I don't know where my other guest is. It's starting on evening, and I got no email, so don't know if they got lost. But maybe we should wrap it up a bit soon. Let me see, Lynn.
Oh, obviously me. She means, I guess. Oh, sorry. No, I was looking at Fee's message. Sorry.
I love her. I get excited when she uses Scots words I haven't heard since I was a kid, but Gaelic sounds really pretty. I think my grandfather used to speak Gaelic, I think.
So you had your grandma speaking Ukrainian and your grandpa speaking Gaelic. Must have been
well on different sides.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandmother, who was well, basically, I think she was Ukrainian, but there's Polish. She was in Poland, I think, at some point. But then her husband, which was like 4 times almost as old as her, like I think it was like his 4th wife or something like this. But he died in his 80s in the 50s, way before I was born. So like he was in, I think, the Polish army at some point. The story is, so I don't know what he was doing. Excuse me. Who is that hot guy?
It's Mark, the same every week. Honestly.
I mean, hello. In the attic, cold shower.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
but
bad
I
as
want.
Steve on having these young fellas on your lives.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, yeah, there's it's because it's English. There's also native North America, Indian in Canada. So I've got, I think, second cousins that are on the reserve still. Like I think they were my dad's cousins, so that would make him second cousin to me. Is that right? Is that how it works? I have no idea.
I think so. Yeah.
But I think I have enough that if I could get the genealogical records, I could go back to Canada and live on the reservation as a native.
I thought you were going to say you could go back to Canada and open a casino.
Well, yeah, I could probably because they're on the reserves.
Would you want to live in East or West Canada?
Well, I would have to do it in Ontario. I think
Okay.
that would be the only place because that's the only place I think that I could probably prove that I have native connections.
Please tell me they're Mohicans, though.
What? No, it'd be it'd be Ojibwa. I think Ojibwe.
I live in Vancouver at some point for sure.
Yeah, it would be kind of neat to do a DNA test and probably find out there's no native Indians in there at all. That's what usually people find out, because it's like usually what happens is for that reason is maybe somebody was married. Just because they were married to somebody doesn't mean that that's the bloodline.
Yeah, I saw someone do that not long ago, and they found out they really lived their whole life thinking they were Polish, maybe.
Yeah.
Then found out they were Italian because their father wasn't their father.
Yeah. That's usually what happens because people tell me they're going, oh, but the name is this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jenny's saying that you could stay to be a surly houseboy like Steve Donahue has.
Come again?
A surly houseboy.
Yeah, I wish I could. I came on my day off here. I have to go tomorrow to work again. Taking care of even younger kids. Spoiled kids from Europe.
Jeez.
Well, Jenny, probably there could very well be because it is English, so there could very well be Danish, from the Danelaw area in here somewhere. That's where a DNA thingy would do it.
Well, I'm very boring. I'm English back till I guess the Conqueror and the Vikings. Then obviously I become something else. I know my father's name at least is Viking because there's a town named after it in Sweden, or a village named after it in Sweden. But otherwise I'm English, which is very annoying because when the whole Brexit thing happened, I was desperately looking for an Irish grandparent or great grandparent or something like that, and no, sadly not.
Well, apparently, Jenny will like this. This is the story. I don't know how true it is, but it's a great story. Where the name Standfast came from was the Duncan clan from Scotland, where they fought in the Battle of Hastings, or some of them fought in the Battle of Hastings. The ones that were left alive and still standing were called Standfast.
That's a great story.
So the name, the name had sort of been around before that, but it's also like there's a Mount Standfast in Jamaica, in the name, and there's Mark Richardson was saying there's a lot of ships called, or in the past in the Royal Navy, I guess, called Standfast somehow, and if you look on websites, there's a lot of the name Standfast is popular in Africa. Like I don't know how all this stuff works. I've looked at some of it, but It's
Well,
just an
I mean,
interesting thing.
it could make sense actually, because I guess because I know in German you have the word stark, which is like strong, but you also have the word fest, which is also to be solid or strong. And you could imagine stand fest, as in standing solidly or standing strongly, something like that. Possibly could be then corrupted through English, Old English, whatever. And maybe even the Normans used it. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is too that all I do know is I remember in Canada looking at the University of Toronto, and there was a lot of records, like they had genealogical records, but these were things past or after 1066, and you would see these names like John Standfast beheaded for treason, so and so Standfast beheaded for treason, beheaded for treason, beheaded for treason. And then all of a sudden, I remember looking further ahead, you start seeing the name Standfast without the D. So they dropped the D to be disassociated with it, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting journey. I tried it for a while using just these online websites, kind of tracing the family names I knew. And I got back, I think, to the mid 18th century on a few of my lines. But what was really interesting to me is just the amount of documentation that's out there. It's like,
yeah, but you can't go back much before that because there were no records properly. Yeah. You got to go to parish records. And the thing is, a lot of people do this, and most of their thing, and they get people to do this, and it's not correct because there are so many names, the same names, so they just grab that name. And like it really, I spent a little while on a site figuring out my grandfather's parents and then their parents, and that was really tricky because I had to get, like, there was like, oh, that's it, and then I find out no, it's not, because I had to have 4 check marks in my mind to make sure it's correct, because 4 things that were connected.
I was fairly lucky in the ones that worked well, in the fact that they didn't have particularly common names. Like, for example, names like Barzillai and things like that, were cropping up. So there's not too many, a huge number of Barzillais. But the funny thing is, of course, the people who did the censuses and stuff would misspell it.
Yeah.
So like Barzillai would become Barzilla or Bogzilla or this kind of stuff. But, obviously when the rest of the family stays the same, you can kind of work it out. But what fascinated me in terms of documentation was I had a whole couple of generations of people who worked on the railways, for example, but they worked in the colonial railways. And, different family members were born in really different parts of the world, but I could see their entire career. It was online, like from their pay slips to their postings to all this kind of stuff. So, you get like the military stuff and, and things from like the wars, but even those go back further. I found one family member who was in the Napoleonic Wars in South America. I can't remember now if it was a Suriname maybe or French Guiana, one of the two. But it was fascinating. I was like, oh my God, here I am sitting in the Czech Republic, being able to find out this stuff. So,
did you ever do any of these genetic genealogies? Where they, like, I think you have to send like blood or something, and they can trace you back for 1,000 years, like 10 generations.
I mean, you just take a swab inside your mouth and put it in
something like that.
Yeah.
Spaminators.
They're only 39 quid somewhere. Did we pass that or?
Yeah. I had it. Yeah. My Heritage DNA do special offers at just £39 every few months.
I would try that.
Spaminator said, because that's my name, solid and strong. And Alexis saying, I'm a bit pale for an African man. But you see, the thing is, my knowing this, that the name is popular there, or semi-popular, on my grandfather's side, on the English side, there were many generations, they were Wesleyan ministers. So there probably was a missionary out there somewhere.
Well, that's it. And of course, Alexis, don't forget there are white Africans. We can't say just because they've only been there for like 200 years, they're not. It would be like then if we said that people who are English who happen to be black aren't English, right? So yeah, we have to say now that there are white Africans, because I had this, I had a white friend, and she's from Zambia. And when I said to my friends, at university, we were going to meet up, and I said, "Oh, you're going to meet my friend from Zambia. This is cool, blah blah blah." And she arrived, and they're talking, and then someone leaned over to me and said, "When's your friend from Zambia getting here?" And I said, "But it's her." And they're like, "But she's white." And I said, "Yes, they do have white Zambians."
Yeah, Jenny's saying she's got right down to the combusting in direct sunlight. That's pretty well the way I am as well. And Bill says he has alien DNA. Master, you've arrived. You were right, and I enjoyed Treasure Island. What's this about Treasure Island? Did I miss something?
Jenny was reading Treasure Island.
Ah, right. Okay. Treasure Island is treasure all its own. Spaminator, long and strong and determined. I only knew the Muppet version. Oh, geez, yeah.
Which one?
DNA.
Jenny, are you talking about the book that you read, or are you talking about the film? And which film are you talking about apart from the Muppets? Because if you watch any Treasure Island film, it should be 1950s Disney Treasure Island with Robert Newton. What do you mean? What do you mean?
There's a better one. There's a better one.
Not a better one. You cannot be better than Robert Newton as Long John Silver.
It's very cutesy, and it's for children. But okay, fine.
Which one are you talking about?
Yours.
No, which one are you thinking that's better?
The earlier one from the 30s.
Rubbish. That Wallace Barry, or whatever his name is, as Long John Silver.
But the thing is, the black whatever guy, like there is darkness to it. It's kind of dark as well. So I thought that was good.
No,
but it's not the same.
There's darkness. There's darkness in the Treasure Island, the Disney one. I mean, Blind Pew is terrifying. And then when Long John Silver says, when Robert Newton says, them that dies will be the lucky ones. Ha 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 ha. That's pretty scary for a child. So no, I'm not having this. It's the best one ever.
Zap says DNA will help you help with solving family tree inaccuracies. But it doesn't tell you where these who these people were, though. That's the thing. It doesn't give you names.
It only gives you locations.
Yeah. Alexis, there might be children watching. I found my mother, she was adopted, birth mother and father through DNA. Oh, okay. Didn't know they did that. You could do that. But I guess that closely, I guess they could, yeah. The Muppets version is hands down my favorite adaptation. Tim Curry for the win.
Yeah. Whatevs.
But it is a children's book anyway. That's what it was written. Well, like a Hobbit it was a children's. It was supposed to be like 5 to 8 year olds. The Hobbit, and it's like I know adults that struggle with reading it today, and I'm going, but yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I really enjoy this The Rest is History podcast. And they have an episode on King Solomon's Mines, and they talk about Henry Rider Haggard and his life and the publishing of the book, and how of course it came about because of Treasure Island. He was on a train. He was on a train with his brother, and they were talking about this book, Treasure Island. And Haggard said, "Oh, I could do better than that." And his brother said, "All right, I bet you 10 bob, you can't." And so he's like, he did it, and he said he wrote King Solomon's Mines in like 6 weeks. And it was just interesting because they were talking about how fundamentally important it is. Because apparently Haggard was the favorite author of J.R.R. Tolkien. And, the fact that the whole quest and all this kind of stuff all stems from King Solomon's Mines. So it was just fascinating.
Yeah, Spaminator likes the bad 1950s one, but actually wasn't there 2 1950s? I think there were 2 films in the 50s.
Oh, I don't know.
I think there might have been. There might have been. And Jenny says she's only read the book, never watched any other film. It does because they hook you up with relatives that know family history.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess more recent stuff, but you're not going to be able to get back to the 1800s with that. I can't see, but I maybe I don't know. I have over 1,000 fourth cousins. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, isn't it like basically? I think everybody, like in Europe, pretty well can trace them. You can, or a huge percentage can trace themselves back to Charlemagne, or somebody was saying, like you can trace yourself back.
Well, I mean, they also say, I think that everybody who's, white English, I think it's English, I don't think it's British, is no more than 7th cousin maximum to the next person.
Mm.
So there's only 7 degrees between each English person. So couldn't explain a lot, maybe.
That's basic. I feel like it probably is very different for Spain because it belonged to so many different. Like it belonged to the Arabs. It belonged to the Germanics, like all the barbarians as well. It was part of Rome. So I wanna do one of the DNA tests just to see if I'm more from, where am I more from as well, because it could be very interesting. Although I'm not super, like, I don't really, it doesn't really change anything for me, but.
No, but it's nice to know. It's interesting. I mean, I would do it, especially for 39 quid. Yeah, I would definitely give that a go.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, like, what are they going to do with your DNA, though? That's the thing. It's like, it's sort of, I'm always curious because they say that they own the rights to it and stuff like this. Like, why do you need the rights to your DNA? Like some of these things, it's like, and then when they can clone you. I don't know. Jenny's saying
they can use it for like insurance purposes, right? Insurance companies will buy the data to see if you are worth insuring.
Jenny says I'm going to taunt you with my bad taste in films and enjoying Western remakes. But I know I do like cheesy B movies. Like I say, I've been watching a lot of the 1950s B films, English B films, and they're kind of fun. Some are better than the others. The Hobbit's been, you will die alone on that hill.
I was thinking the same.
DNA will. So they take you back 5 generations of direct relatives. I guess that's that you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, no, they I think there's now they take you back. I think it was 9 or 10 generations now. Like
but I mean, but they can maybe connect you to people directly with names. Maybe
so,
I think that's what that was. I think that's what he meant. Which do you think is better at being an adventure story, King Solomon's Mines or Treasure Island?
Impossible.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you put a gun to my head, it'd be Treasure Island purely because it's the one that I've lived with the longest and I have really fond memories of it. But as an adult now, if I took them side by side, I couldn't say one's better than the other. They're different. And
Jenny's saying she enjoyed the Hobbit movies.
Oh, they were so bad. They were so bad.
Well, she said she likes B movies, cheesy B movies.
They should have been one movie.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it would be kind of neat. 20% of all men on the planet. Yeah, you hear stuff like that. Back to Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan would make sense, though.
But why would it be 20% of all men?
Why men?
Well, maybe possibly because. But isn't it they actually go through the mother? Isn't it they can? I think the DNA thing goes through the mother.
DNA is the mother, but also, I mean, all those 20% of those men have mothers, right? Can't just come from. You can't guarantee.
And we'll pass over Spaminator's thing about the Hobbit. It's surprisingly accurate. Yes, Craig. You're dealing with living relatives that descended. Yeah, for 5th generation. Okay, that's quite amazing. That's quite amazing that they can do that.
They tell you a lot more as well. They tell you like your likelihood to get certain diseases and everything, kind of exercises that are more beneficial to you. It's crazy how much they can tell. That's the part I don't want so much because I feel like if I know that I'm gonna have a that like I have more likelihood to like have a certain disease or something like that, I'll subconsciously start manifesting it with my actions, if that makes sense. I don't want to know that, you know. But I get why some people would want to know that.
Jenny wants to know what King Solomon's Mines is. It's a
Jenny wants
book.
to know what King Solomon's Mines is? Yeah, it's a book.
Cool.
It's the GOAT, or the OG of all Lost Worlds / quest / whatever adventures. They were talking actually, and I thought of you, Sean. Is it Mike Astley or no, someone who wrote a big history of science fiction kind of compendium thing, and they said in it that, you know, all these.
Did you say Mike Astley or Ashley?
I said Astley, no?
Astley, yeah, that's not. It's Mike Ashley.
Oh, I don't know.
Mike Astley isn't that a singer?
No, it's Rick Astley.
Oh, okay.
We've already any else haven't read it.
But they said like all these kind of sorceress characters and galactic queens and all these kind of, they all trace their origins back to, you know, Henry Rider Haggard with King Solomon's Mines and She. So, Jenny, you need to read it.
Paternal, what? Happle group? What's that?
Hala group. Hapla.
Oops, I didn't mean to type die. Okay. Told you I had some bad taste. They use a male identifier. There are specific identifiers for both male and female.
Okay, makes sense.
I'm laughing out loud. I accidentally typed die and accidentally pressed send. No. Well, you're amongst friends here. You can opt out of potential disease, etc. Oh, okay. So you can opt out, yeah.
I would love to opt out of every disease if I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when it's got to do with The Hobbit, I will censor. But yeah, no, because I haven't read Lord of the Rings yet. I don't know if we're still if I can do it in December. We'll see what happens.
I've never read Lord of the Rings.
No.
Me neither. That's amazing.
But then in December,
Okay.
because we read.
I'll read it with you.
Yeah, because Mark and I read The Hobbit in December. Well, mine took me into January, and I didn't care for it. I didn't care for The Hobbit.
I feel like I've been meaning to read it for so long. It's like my father's Bible, and it's always been sitting there, and I've never read it either.
You could probably, for 99p, buy the Delphi complete.
Yeah, you could do that, Jenny. Get the complete Henry Rider Haggard, or don't pay anything. Get it from Gutenberg, or maybe even Amazon itself will have it for free. Of course, it's in the public domain.
Oh, I think people are more than that in general. I think because I think they've found out now that Neanderthals were subsumed into the humans.
I think it's like 2%.
Homo sapiens. What?
2% average, isn't it? Maybe
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look at the forehead.
Any book with Cockney trolls is objectively perfect. Okay, yeah, I can't quite disagree with that. Yeah, it's like, Jenny rereads Lord of the Rings every year, along with Hobbit and Silmarillion.
She's not read blimmin' King Solomon's Mines. You can't. Lord of the Rings wouldn't exist without King Solomon's Mines, Jenny. You better get reading it. You know.
I mean, Lord of the Rings would also not exist without the Hobbit, or was the Hobbit afterwards?
Yeah, true.
Which one came first, the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
Hobbit, I think.
Hobbit first, yeah.
Multiple books, but with different length. Oh, okay. Not sure why. Just get the Delphi. Just get the Delphi edition.
Yeah, 90. It'll be like 199 or something. Yeah, have his complete works. So I think I'm gonna have to go. I'm getting too hot.
Yeah, I think it's time to go. Someday, yeah, Bill. Maybe we'll have a thing for December.
Yes, please.
Grix will do it. Bill will do it. Mark will do it, and maybe I'll do it.
I'll take any premise to read a lot of reels at this point.
I would recommend H. Rider Haggard's entire bibliography. His works are very imaginative. Exactly. Yeah, I agree fully.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Although, yes, okay. These days, some people might have a few issues with the language.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, like in King Solomon's Mine, or is it which one he uses the N word to dismiss it and saying that it's a horrible word and shouldn't be used.
Yeah.
You know, and he uses it to dismiss it.
And how often is the black character end up being the hero of some sort in these books? Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say enlightened first time.
To a point.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and thanks everybody again for. There will be, like I say, I'm going to be doing a push somehow later after everything's in storage. Once I sort of identify exactly where I'm going to go and again, if anybody here knows anybody with a C1 license or basically a license that was issued before January 1st, 1997, as far as I can tell, they can drive a 7.5 ton vehicle. So I need someone like that. Probably late August-ish.
I mean, Jenny's got to know some postman.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Because I'm going to be, we'll get something to eat and then I'll be packing more this evening. And well, it's not quite that much, is it? It is long.
The complete works?
Yeah, it is long, so it could be at 54,000 pages. I don't know.
I don't know if it's 500,000. No.
No. That's 547, but
87,000. I thought it was something like that.
I'm in the mood for some English. Yeah.
Say hi to Jammers.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
And don't forget to check out Grix's channel. It's listed below in the comment, or not the comments, the description.
Thank you, Sean. It was my first live, this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Bye, everybody. It's not ended yet. It's trying to do this. End broadcast.